We are. Our Indigenous people actually burned it for years, didn't they? To keep control of the fires, and it stopped all the fires. But now, a lot of people said we've got a lot of landowners that don't want to burn anymore. And that's caused a lot of problems, in these fire seasons.
As the El Niño weather pattern raises the stakes for this year's fire season, meet the Australians who are learning from Indigenous people the ancient way of fighting fire with fire. Here in the woods of northern New South Wales, residents are keeping an eye on what's called a cultural fire. Cultural burning is an Indigenous practice that involves setting deliberate and planned fires on landscapes. Done correctly, it generates far less heat than standard hazard reduction burning.
I'm blessing you with this.
It tackles small patches of vegetation at a time, allowing animals and birds to move away from the heat. Care is also taken to protect trees, in particular very old scar trees that have stood for hundreds of years.
Protecting the trees is really important, and Aboriginal people consider the canopy, the top of the trees, sacred, so we don't want any fire in the top of the canopy, because what that do is takes out all the potentially the old trees, lets all the light in, then we get this really bad regrowth. So we're trying to break that cycle.
That's Richard Geddes, the program manager for Jagoon Alliance Aboriginal Corporation, which is helping Australians learn to use the generations-old land management technique.
It's part of life, it's part of the Australian bush. It burns, and you've got to be on top of it.
Michael Smith reached out to Jagoon for help after losing nearly 3/4 of his property in the so-called Black Summer deadly bushfires of 2019 to 2020.
We are. Our Indigenous people actually burned it for years, didn't they? And keep control of the fires, and it stopped all the fires.
Cultural burning was lost after the British colonised Australia in 1788, and Indigenous people were dispossessed of their lands. It's been seeing a revival as more residents feel the need to future-proof their properties.
One of the keys that was missing, I think, for a lot of people was cultural burning.
Anastasia Guys, who manages the land care of a community, is also among those learning how to prevent another Black Summer.
I didn't expect to feel this comfortable, but I feel like it's really right. It's being done gently. There's a whole lot of crew on the ground, and I feel absolutely comfortable with it.
With the Indigenous belief in custodianship rather than claiming ownership of land, Jagoon teaches about so-called good fire in a country where most have a fear-based relationship with blazes. The initiative also creates opportunities for Aboriginal people to gain practical skills while maintaining their ancient methods of caring for the land. Jagoon Executive Director Oliver Costello says it's about listening to the land and paying attention.
And that's why it's so important that we get people back on the country and learning how we can heal the land, bring the fire back, bring the trees back. Not only will they be better for us, cleaner water and air and safer places, they'll also be more resilient to changes in the climate, which we're going to have more. We're seeing big changes